This is 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk. And this is Atlanta, the food, the wine, the entertainment, the lifestyle. This is Belinda Skelton's Atlanta Living.
Sponsored by Virtual Imaging.
Welcome to Atlanta Living. I'm your host, Belinda Skelton. My next guest is going to be so interesting this half hour. Kirk Halpern of Farmers and Fishermen Purveyors. And it's an amazing story. They really did a pivot during the pandemic, and I want you to hear about that. They have amazing product that they can bring right to your door, but I don't want to take up his time with a lengthy introduction. I want to get right into it. So, Kirk, I want you to tell us what inspired you to start Farmers and Fishermen Purveyors.
Well, Belinda, thank you for having me here with your listeners. Now I think you got everyone's expectations way, way too high. So now I'm going to get real nervous. Then the first 2 minutes, I'm not going to live up to your billing, so I'm going to do the best. Belinda, I have passion for this business. I grew up in this business. Actually, my family tree within the business, my maternal great-grandfather used to have a push cart in the Lower East Side of Atlanta. Got killed when the push cart was hit by a car.
Oh, no.
My maternal grandfather, when I was a small boy up until being a young man, I worked in his business as in the produce business, being a purveyor. And then after I graduated Duke Law School, practiced a year and a day, which I hated it.
Yeah.
I ended up calling up my father, who at the time owned Buckhead Beef Company, and I went to work with him for 17 years. We built a great company. He ended up selling the company to the largest publicly traded company in the food business. Then a few years later from that, I started Halpern Steak and Seafood with some equity partners. My dad ended up joining me. We grew that business, ended up selling that to a wonderful multi-billion-dollar company out of the Midwest. And then I did my earnout, and then did 18 months of a non-compete. And during those 18 months, I'm kind of wandering around and thinking, what is it that I want to do? I'm too young and too wired to be sitting on the sidelines. And I was inspired to create Farmers and Fishermen Purveyors with my son, Ben, and to invoke what I currently have as a 15-year plan.
Wow. Well, it's an amazing business, and I just want to tell the listeners I ordered several things off your menu, and when it arrived, it was like Christmas morning. It was like Santa Claus rang the doorbell and left an amazing array of seafood at my door, and I unpacked it, and seriously, it was like Christmas morning. I had salmon, I had lobster tails, I had shrimp, I had crab cakes, I had scallops. I mean, you name it, I had it, and it's so fresh and beautiful seafood, the most beautiful seafood I had ever seen in my life. So obviously you are sourcing your seafood from some great sources, and we'll get into that a little bit later. I just wanted to pat you on the back for the great job that you do. But when the pandemic hit, you had to pivot because you were at Farmers and Fishermen Purveyors. You were the one that was delivering to the top echelon of restaurants.
Yes, Belinda, thank you. And by the way, I just wish you shop down more than just the one seafood aisle. We have on our website, farmersandfishermen.com, we got a meat aisle, we have a wild game aisle, we have some delectable aisles, but we're proud of all of our products, including the fish which you had purchased. But when we started Farmers and Fishermen in July 1, 2019, our model was going to be to supply the finest restaurants in North Georgia and a little bit beyond that with steak, seafood, wild game, and a whole bunch of neat, cool stuff. And we're building the business, and we're growing the business. And then in March 16th, boom, the pandemic hit. I'm driving in my car, and we're getting cancellation as different restaurants were either closing, some short-term, some long-term. And to say that I was scared, I was a little bit scared.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit disheveled, and I headed home, and I saw my wife was taking care of about 5 of her friends who had ordered some stuff, and I said to myself, we're taking care of those friends, but how do we take care of the rest of the North Georgia community? And I grabbed my yellow legal pad, and I went into my wife's kitchen, and I started mapping out a business plan. It took me 13 hours. And then the next morning, I announced it to my team. And I said, we're going to have no firing, no furloughs, no reduction in pay, no reduction in hours, no reduction in benefits. And in exchange for that, because everybody was scared, because all of my contemporaries were knocking out people, and people were scared. And I said, we're going to do this, and I asked for one thing in return. I said, we need to be perfect. If we're going to be delivering to people's homes, we need to be perfect. Perfect handling, perfect fresh fish, perfect steaks, perfect game, perfect additional items. And my team responded. And then I said, and when we grow out of this, which is what we are going to do, the first people that we're going to hire are going to be the family members of my employee partners. All my employees, their titles are employee partners. And so we hire their spouses, their dads, their kids, different folks who had gotten knocked out. So now, a year later, farmers and fishermen we now have twice the amount of employee partners that we had before. And it's been a great ride, but I could not have done it without the all-in attitude of my employees. And of equal importance to me, my upstream supplier partners. The name of the company is Farmers and Fishermen because that's who I partner with. Not big agribusiness, but small farmers, small fishermen who take pride and care in developing the best products for the marketplace, and we're happy to offer that into the North Georgia community.
You can't see my face, Kirk, but I have the biggest smile on my face because not only did you go in and tell your employees and put their mind at ease that your life is going to be just the same as it was. I'm not laying you off. I'm not cutting your pay. I'm not cutting your benefits. But you hired their family members.
Well, it was, Belinda, it's the right thing to do. You know, times of crisis allow us the opportunity to come together. And the best way to come together is you create opportunity and create hope for those folks who you work with, who you do business with. You know, I had some suppliers. I have a fella in Ohio who his grand uncle was Bob Hope. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Hope and his brother, Bob Hope went into what Bob Hope did as far as television and music, and his brother Leslie went into the rib cooking business. And he does for me the best mouth-watering baby back rib that all you got to do is throw that on the grill, heat it up. It is spectacular. When I called Daniel, and I said, and it's about 3 weeks into the crisis, I said, Daniel, how are you doing? He said, Kirk, my phone hasn't rang once. I haven't had one order.
Oh.
I said, Daniel, look. I said, you haven't had an order? He said, no. I said, look, send me 5 pallets of ribs. He says, do you have them sold? I said, no, we're going to figure out and go out and go sell them. He said, Kirk, thank you. This is the first purchase order I had. So not only were we able to affect my employee partners, Daniel, and he told me this. He said, Kirk, I took your purchase order. I told the folks we got our first order, and we're going to get more.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the same with Bob Ambrose, who's my foie guy. Every top restaurant, New York City, L.A., Chicago, all got closed down. Many of them have stayed closed down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the foie gras business, your whole marketplace got shut down. So I called Bob. I said, Bob, work with me because I want to pass along great pricing to the homeowners in North Georgia. People who've never tried foie, because I got carried in slices and butters and different things. I said, give me some great pricing so I can pass that along to the family so they can have foie gras, which they've never had before. They can have a little bit of delicacy during this time of crisis. And it allowed him to continue doing his harvest, continue to keep him and his small family on that farm working. And hopefully, as we've grown through this, we've grown this together with great farmers, great fishermen, and also great little small local businesses that now are either smoking product, doing hot dogs for us, you name it, that either is available to our homeowner consumer, like the same way you got something delivered to your house, or to our restaurant partners who have either reopened or opening it up. And boy, we sure wish as many people will go out and have our fine products at our restaurant customers, because they sure could use the business, and it would only be good stuff.
Well, we're going to take a break. We're speaking with Kirk Halpern, and we're talking about farmers and fishermen and how they pivoted during the pandemic, but we're going to talk about how you can have it delivered to your house after the break. You're listening to Atlanta Living, only on 95.5 WSB. And welcome back to Atlanta Living. I'm your host, Belinda Skelton. We are talking about farmers and fishermen purveyors with Kirk Halpern. And they used to be delivering only to the high-end restaurant base, but now they've pivoted a little bit. And that means great things for you, doesn't it, Kirk?
Yes, and I'll tell you, Belinda, it wasn't a little pivot. It was a big pivot.
Yes.
Because prior to that, we dealt with the same 120 top restaurants, and now we're opening ourselves up to the entire North Georgia community, and we had to figure a way for them to reach us and us to reach them, and to make that as smooth of a process as possible.
So how can people best contact you and be put in contact and order your fresh meats and wild game and seafood?
Belinda, they can do it one of three easy ways. First way is they can dial us on our main number, 770-441-1100. That's 770-441-1100. We have home delivery sales partners ready by the phone that can go ahead and take that order, and also walk you through if you have questions. Second, we also have where they can turn around and send an email to us at home delivery at farmers, that's plural, FARMERS, and AND fishermen, MEN.com. And then what we've worked on, and really it's been my son Ben, who's 25, and he's really been our pioneer on getting our website, Shopify order system set up. Now, one of the reasons he's that lead is he's the only one person we had under 25.
Right.
The rest of us don't know how to do this stuff.
I know it.
And we have had our website as a moving target. It keeps getting better, but you can go on to farmers, again, that's plural, AND, fishermen, FISHERMEN.com, and you can go on a visual shopping experience, and you just start looking at the items that we're carrying and we're promoting. And then once what you can also do is you get tagged by our website for an email blast. We send out an email blast 3 days a week, and a lot of times we'll offer some type of crazy special. So, for example, we offered this week that if you had an order over $250, we were going to give you a free 1-ounce tin of Royal Etc. Caviar from my caviar supplier, Sassini. Gorgeous stuff. And I will tell you, all this morning, orders out the door. They were all over $250. Everybody wanted that 1 ounce free tin of beautiful caviar.
That sounds great. We're going to take a break, Kirk. We'll be back with farmers and fishermen purveyors and their story and how you can get in touch with them and what's available. You're listening to Atlanta Living, only on 95.5 WSB. And welcome back to Atlanta Living. I'm your host, Belinda Skelton. We are back with farmers and fishermen purveyors, Kirk Halpern, and we are talking about the best seafood and steaks and meats that you have ever tried in your life. I mean, I have never had this fresh of seafood delivered to me ever. It's better than any supermarket, high-end thing that I have ever been able to purchase in a supermarket. It beats it hands down. I cooked the salmon steaks the other day, and I looked like I was a top chef on one of the cooking shows the other day. I looked like a top Iron Chef the other day. My kids thought I was.
Belinda, can I share something? Can I share something with you on that?
Sure.
So when we first started, it was to fill the need. To feed, and so that people didn't have to go into the stores because they were scared.
Yeah.
But we built a business model so that customers, and we continue to have such a tremendous loyal returning customer base. And the reason people are going to be buying from us now is it's what you just said, and that is freshest, most delectable, best tasting. So that's what we do. But what we also did is we took our restaurant partner chefs in an effort to push the spotlight onto them as opposed to on us, is we got menu suggestions and recommendations from all of these different chefs from around North Georgia. So now you can go onto our website, see some of the recipes. So let's say you've never cooked golden tile before. You've never done a veal chop before. These different recipes are available that you can use. And the great thing is if you got great tasting food, all you really need is a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, or one of my favorites, a little bit of truffles mixed in, whether it's truffle oil or truffle salt, and it just makes everything better. And then plus, if you have if you love drinking a great glass of wine, there's nothing that makes a great steak or great seafood taste better than opening that bottle of wine and sharing that in a communal meal.
Absolutely. And I didn't know that you had recipes along with that. That is going to be so helpful for me.
Yeah, we actually were featured on Good Morning America. Tori Johnson did this great segment on us, and we did a surf and turf where we were showing T-bone steaks, and we were doing some beautiful sea bass that originates off the coast of Antarctica. And one of the things that we did is we wanted to show some of the different chef recipes. So we actually did like a digital menu cookbook that my son put together, so that you can pop and take a look and you can pull up these different recipes. It was really a neat thing. We had a lot of fun with and just something we really enjoyed doing.
What about some of the other accolades that you have acquired lately?
Thank you. A little bit humbled. Well, I'm really a lot humbled by it. We've gotten a lot of awards. We've gotten a lot of recognition, and that's not the reason we do it. The two most meaningful awards we got, and I don't mean to make anything less important, but both Atlanta Business Chronicle and Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Atlanta Business Chronicle had us as the number 16th best place to work.
Oh, wow.
And Atlanta Journal-Constitution just did the top 175 places to work, and they had thousands of companies apply. This was our first time doing this. And in the small company division, which is what we are, we are small. I'm not big. We're small. We actually came in small companies, North Georgia, best place to work, came in the top 10. We came in the number 8 spot.
Oh, wow, Kirk.
And then we were number 1 overall in like a special category of employee appreciation, and that meant that our employees felt appreciated, and that's because every employee to me is an employee partner.
Absolutely. Well, it's the fact that you, during the pandemic, kept their salary in place, kept their benefits in place, hired their family members, actually grew the company during the pandemic. I mean, that is unheard of.
Well, thank you. I also want to give a quick shout out. You know, we believe real important on this local community. So everything, our whole model is kind of geared around that. So when you see our refrigerated delivery vans, they're all Mercedes Sprinter vans because Mercedes is a local company. When we did this Good Morning America, when we've shipped throughout North America, you know, to me there was one choice, and that is UPS is a local company. We ship all throughout UPS. So if you have, you know, Mother's Day is around the corner. Mm-hmm. You want to send. Your mom may be living in a different state. You may have another family member. You can ship Farmers and Fishermen products anywhere in the United States and get our products.
And that would be a great gift for Mom because she would so enjoy this food. What a treat to give Mom these delectable seafood and meats that she can enjoy that maybe she wouldn't buy for herself in the grocery store, and it would be a far cry from what she would buy in the grocery store, I can tell you that. Just give us a hint of some of the things that you sell on the website. Well,
thank you, but I will try to steer your listeners away from my food. If you can choose and you have the ability to give your mom jewelry, give your mom jewelry. If you're not going to give your mom jewelry, I got a long list of great delectables that you can give her. So on the seafood side, it could be salmon, it could be sea bass, snapper, grouper, golden tile. It could be items like lobster tails. I'm bringing in lobster tails from Canada. I'm bringing them from the coast of South Africa. The Tristan tails, bring them from New Zealand.
Now,
so yes,
I got lobster tails, Kirk, and I've never cooked them. What should I do?
Pull up a recipe from farmersandfishermen.com. And there you got a couple of different ways to do it.
Okay.
But normally, what always goes great with lobster tails is if you got some great butter that goes with it. The lobster tails are actually pretty simple. Most items to cook, if you have great ingredients, are simple.
Okay.
And whether that's on the seafood side or on the steak side, you know, you want to give Mom a fillet, a bone-in rib steak, a cowboy, any of those things are great. And then what we've also tried to do is do real niche cool stuff. So I'm actually even where it's available that you can order for your home, Japanese A5 Wagyu. Oh. And what we've done is normally those come in whole loins. We go ahead and cut them into 16-ounce, we call them steak blocks. So this way, you can treat yourself to doing Kobe in your home. And then if you want, there's a whole bunch of other varieties. We have, I have a great Australian Wagyu that's coming from Westholme. Westholme, they have 15 million acres in Australia. It's the size of West Virginia. But they have the beautiful purebred Wagyu there. And then I also have a couple of farms here in the United States, Durham Ranch, Mishima Ranch, where they're growing some great American Wagyu for us that we're turning into fillets and strip steaks. I have, if you want to move away from beef and you want on pork, I have one of my favorite farmers, Renee and Adam Cox in Florence, Alabama, that are growing a great Berkshire Duroc cross. And then not only is it helping their family, they feed their hogs Alabama corn, So there's a whole network of farmers that are working together to produce beautiful products so that we can have those featured here in North Georgia.
Oh,
Lamb,
that sounds wonderful.
Lamb, I got Craig Border up on the border actually between Virginia and North Carolina. He does beautiful American lamb. I'm bringing in lamb from Australia and New Zealand as well. I got John Ritchie out of Ohio doing some great veal, and just every line we carry, it's because there's a farmer or an operator, somebody small who puts their heart, puts their soul into producing beautiful products, and we're just having fun. We're working real hard, but we're having fun bringing those products to the consumers in North Georgia, and all they got to do is go on to our website, farmersandfishermen.com, and take a look.
I am so proud of you. And tell us your association with Goodwill of North Georgia.
Well, thank you. I'm very honored. I'm the chair of the board of directors, Goodwill of North Georgia. Goodwill, our mission is to put people to work. So there's never been a more important time for our organization. Our CEO and president, Keith Parker, is absolutely phenomenal. Keith was the gentleman who turned MARTA around. And we have a saying, it's ABC, a job, a better job, and a career. And during this pandemic, Goodwill of North Georgia has performed exceptionally well. And, our society is weaved by a fabric of having jobs, having opportunity, and community. And what's great opportunity is for me is that in my roles as owner of Farmers and Fishermen, being chair of the board of Goodwill, I can roll up my sleeves, get my hands dirty, and try to have a positive impact in the community by creating jobs, opportunity, and hope for those that I'm around. And I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share our story with your listeners.
You make us proud and glad you're part of the community around us and sharing your talents with farmers and fishermen, purveyors, and North Georgia Goodwill. Thank you so much, Kirk Halpern and Farmers and Fishermen Purveyors, for coming on Atlanta Living this afternoon.
Thank you, Belinda.
You're listening to Atlanta Living only on 95.5 WSB.